Hi, my name's Phil Borders and I'm a psychiatrist at Hendricks Therapy, and today we're going to talk about anxiety. Now, I get people come to my office and they'll say, my anxiety's bad. And I'll say, no, it's not. And when I say that, they don't feel very validated, they don't feel really listened to, but I'm trying to make a point. Because a lot of people will think of anxiety as a totally negative thing, when in fact it's got some positives. And the nice thing about anxiety is that it does keep us doing what we need to do. It gets us ready in the morning. It gets us studying for tests. If I'm in Walmart and I'm about ready to get attacked by a lion who's hanging out in the house goods department, I'm going to run out of the Walmart and not die. And I might save money at Best Buy if I get a better TV. So anxiety is not necessarily a totally negative thing. So when somebody says I have bad anxiety, I say, well, let's look at it a different way, because how we word things can have a significant impact on how we feel things. For example, we've got all kinds of feelings and thoughts bouncing around in our head. And it's hard to understand those feelings and thoughts until we put it into actual words. And that's one of the cool things about therapy. It helps us organize our feelings and our thoughts by putting things into words. So when somebody says, my anxiety's bad, we look and say, well, anxiety's not all bad. Anxiety can be good. I'll give up those examples. And we also talk about how instead of saying my anxiety is bad, you can say my anxiety is too much. And that's definitely the case for a lot of people who have anxiety disorders, depression, what have you. So when you do that, you're actually making the anxiety smaller. You're defining it more narrowly. And when you define something more narrowly and make it smaller, it's usually easier to understand and easier to fight against. Another way to make anxiety smaller is, instead of saying I have anxiety, you can say I feel like my anxiety is too much. Now, psychiatrists love the feel word, so we're going to use the feel word. And what the feel word does is it narrows the definition a little bit further, because you could feel like you have too much anxiety when in fact, your anxiety was quite appropriate. Such as anxiety when you're meeting new people, anxiety when you're giving a speech, anxiety when you're taking a test. You're supposed to feel anxious. A little bit of anxiety is good for us. It's when too much anxiety gets in the way that it's not so good for us. So, hope that was helpful, and talk to you another day.